Here's a gasket which will fit on the intake manifold. I'm going to be using the ArcDroid to do this, and I just wanted to film the process so you guys can see how easy it is. I made this little template off of the EGR system that goes on the end of this thing, and this is just the gasket I pulled off that. So I'm going to go do it. That was super loud, and I'm still playing around with holes, but sand these parts up, and I should be able to just, you know, place that over that with a gasket, bolt it on, and voila, I have a block plate. That one doesn't look as pretty as the gasket does, but this one, like, you'll never see these anyway. They're going to be under the hood and bolted to the engine. Yeah, or maybe some spacers, but yeah, that looks actually kind of good. Yeah, little gasket in there. Tracing these, making a template using that, tracing these out on that machine. Because I haven't used it in a while, I had to relearn a little bit about the tracing functions on there. But after I got that, cut these out, sanded them, and you know, I got these 2 block off plates made in less than an hour. You're gonna spend probably 3 hours trying to find a block off plate specific to whatever engine you're working on, order it, and then wait up, you know, anywhere from 2 days to 3 weeks for it to get to your house. You could buy a $3,000 setup and make it in 45 minutes. Take all this back up to my kitchen, and it'll be ready to build. Alright, I finally have all the stuff I need to put this engine back together, because I've been waiting for this. It's a ball hone, and it does a way better job than these kind of hones, because this one didn't do that great a job on the Hyundai engine. But this one, even though it's a little oversized, is working amazing. My method, and I've done this to hydraulic cylinders before, but basically, put a little bit of oil on that, get a little bit of oil in there, and then can I just hone it out? And this isn't going to take much, because, you know, this cylinder, there's nothing wrong with this engine per se, and the cylinders are already looking good. They're just shiny, and I wanted to put some crosshatch on it. That looks good. Oh yeah. Yep, something for the new pistons to wear in with, so that the cylinder walls and the pistons kind of wear into each other and become a really nice seal. I'm going to wash this engine one more time, put the freeze plugs in, let it dry, flip it over. I might blow out the oil stuff, maybe, but then I'll flip it over and I'll start going back together with the crank and the bushings and the bearings and all that stuff. You can get these on Amazon, and I will put a link in the description below. I would go a 1/2 inch larger in diameter for your ball hone than your cylinder wall, than your cylinders are. So this is a 3-inch piston, 3-inch cylinder wall. I should have done a 3.5 inch ball hone, but it worked out for me anyway. You know, 5 minutes of use. I'll put it away for, you know, 10 years till I need to rebuild this engine again. But I'm still way less money than buying a new engine or having an engine fail when I really need to go somewhere. While I'm pressure washing that, I want to have this in the dishwasher. So I'm going to grind these valves up pretty good. Got them all back in their original holes, but I want to make sure this has really tight compression when this goes back together. Now, since these valve stems stick out the other side of this, I could throw the valve cover back on here and just set this upside down, or you can set up a couple boxes so that this has something to sit on. And that's what I'm going to do. So I put that there. And then here's that oil pump box from the kit. I'll just stick that on this side. And now this is elevated and I can go to work. I just did the Hyundai video. That one I cleaned up really well and soda blasted everything. I don't really care about getting this all over the place because I'm throwing this thing in the dishwasher. So, I mean, you do what you want to do. I would prefer to do this before you pressure wash or parts wash and whatever with your cylinder head. The only bad thing about not cleaning the carbon off the bottom of the valves is that I might not stick very good, but I think just enough friction is going to do it. And I can just lift from the bottom because it's elevated, so that's not a problem. This is basically introducing microscopic metal pieces. Everything that you're desperately trying to filter out with your fancy synthetic oil 10,000 mile filter, you're literally putting into your engine. So it makes sense that you want to do a really good cleanup with a pressure washer or whatever you're going to do. It's probably a good idea to empty the dishwasher before you put your engine parts in there. I'm going to remember that the handle of this is facing away from me. Then I'm going to take my cylinder head and stick it to where the front is facing this way. Front's facing the right. I'm going to take all my valves and kind of put them in order just like that. And I'll wash these in the dishwasher right next to the cylinder head. And that way when they go back in, they'll all go back in the place that they came out of. Keep your fingerprints off of this portion, at least until you can get some engine oil on there, because there's acids and stuff in your oils that can mess up some of these bearings. Kind of like a light bulb. You can hold it like that. Try to refrain from putting all your grimy, dirty fingers in there. I'm going to use my Lucas assembly lube. And now that there's a barrier between the bearing, the dry bearing, and my finger, now I can kind of goop those up. And I've got this crankshaft, which I have inspected. I might wipe that down a little bit. Alright. Another nice thing about doing your parts in the dishwasher is that these get super hot, and then by the time they cool off, they're dry because all the water is just boiling and evaporating off of there. I'm gonna wipe all the surface rust off of the bearing caps here, and then put the new bearings in, torque these down with some plastic gauge, and we'll see, and hopefully they're good because I might just run it anyway. Dude, I need engine specific torque specs here. Brand new book. Can't wait to get it all smudged up so I can't read it. Alright, so that's annoying. The book isn't telling me what the what these main cap torque specs are. So I'm going to do the next best thing and Google it. 61 to 65 foot-pounds. All right. .051 clearance. You want to oil your main cap bolts and your head bolts with engine oil, preferably fresh, but I mean whatever. And that's so that if they're lubricated, they can turn. All of your clamping force is not in the threads themselves. in every situation. A lot of it has to do with the head of the bolt that's flanged, or the washer that you're using in the bolt. Carries a lot of the torque holding, you know, behavior of hardware. Torque everything to 40, then come back for 65. Just because I couldn't find it in the book, it's always smart to do a torque sequence of a smaller torque and a larger torque. And the reason that they design that in is so that when you tighten the next bolt, you're not over tightening the first one by default. And she still spins beautifully. Assembly lube is really tacky, or this thing would be just... I am a little bit worried about this. Right here is your main seal, has a groove in it. Your main rear seal goes here. And so I'm going to be very careful how I install that. I might install the seal a little bit deeper or a little bit more out so that I'm not in this groove. What happens is, once your main seal starts to leak, dirt can get trapped in the seal itself and make like a liquid sandpaper, and it'll eat a groove in whatever spherical or round, so I say spherical because of ball joints, but any round metal surface that you're trying to seal will get ground down with that liquid sandpaper. This is why we never go mudding either, boys. There's a time and a place for silicone, and it's not everywhere. Just saying. So I don't want to like break a lip off of something. Then I'm ordering parts and waiting, which sucks. There's no lip on the back, so I could basically, like, it basically gives me a lot of room to play forward and back with that main seal. I should be able to press this in by hand. If not, I'll do a little bit of love tapping with my bingy bangy over there. You can do it! Yeah, these lip type seals, they've got a groove and a little spring on the inside. I always like to try to put them in as gentle as possible. But I'm gonna go ahead and utilize my flat surface here. I'll try to push this in. And you're dealing with like thin aluminum pieces here, so obviously can't push too much on it. See, no you don't, because it's too dark. But basically, you can put these in by hand if you work at it a little bit. When you're putting silicone on stuff, it doesn't need to be a lot. Like the essence of silicone. Torque specifications for rear oil seal housing bolts is 5.8 to 8.7, 8.7. My torque wrench goes down to 20. Had to take this engine back apart because I forgot to check my rings, and 3 of the 4 wiper rings, which scrape the oil back down into the cylinder and keep it from, you know, these rings are directional. You want to make sure that they're on the right way. I wanted to take this opportunity to show you the easy way that I like to put piston rings on with no tool or anything. You stick the piston ring in there like that, twist it just a little bit, and just kind of spin it right into the gap. You never want to flex these rings too much in the outward direction. They do sell tools that spread this gap apart. I don't like that tool because you run the risk of cracking these springs. It's a very hardened steel and they're brittle and you can crack them really easy. But just so you see it again, I like to put one end in the ring groove, twist it just enough so that the other side goes on top of the piston, and yeah, I know they're dirty, and then just kind of roll them in. And then once you're to that point, just move the piston ring just enough to go over and in. Any more than that, and I start puckering because I don't like breaking rings, especially if they're brand new. The next time that you see this engine, it'll be into the Mazda B2200. Welcome to Black and Blue Garage, the place where I teach you how to make broken dream cake and disappointment pastries. I don't know what the torque spec is, but I have a book. That means the video is over, okay? Bye.